Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time and your viewership. It means a lot to me. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Giorgio Armani, and I'm going to be giving you my pseudo first impression of it. This one is called My Way, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin this pseudo first impression of My Way by Giorgio Armani, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews or first impressions here on YouTube, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner, and of course, while you're at it, please make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. So here we have a fragrance that came out last year in 2020. I believe the perfumers behind this fragrance are Bruno Jovanovic and Carlos Benaim, two very accomplished perfumers with quite the extensive resume. And of course, Giorgio Armani releases tons of fragrances, whether we're talking about flankers of Acqua di Gio, Acqua di Gioia, Armani Code, so on and so forth. But here we see a standalone release, which is always exciting, and it's one that I knew I wanted to get my nose on. And so I think I went to my local mall or department store. I don't remember if it was Macy's or Sephora or whatever, and I tried this fragrance and I remember really enjoying it. And I thought to myself, is this the type of fragrance that my wife would like to wear? Because it is a fragrance that is marketed for women. And then the more I thought about it, with the jasmine, the tuberose, the orange blossom, the vanilla, that fruity accent in the opening, it really struck me as something that my mother would enjoy. And so I think I'm probably going to end up purchasing this fragrance. I might actually give it a full review down the line on my channel, but this is definitely the DNA of the fragrance that my mother would enjoy. So let's go ahead and take a moment and talk about this fragrance, what I personally get from the smell. And again, in full disclosure, I have tried this fragrance already, so this is not a true first impression. This is a pseudo first impression because I've had the sample now for quite a bit of time. So the fragrance opens up with this beautiful pear-like aroma. So it has this fruitiness in the opening, which is very tart, very enjoyable. It's something that I would equate to the smell of like a Jimmy Choo for her, but not as loud, not as strong. And if you remember that fragrance, I believe it's an Olivier Polge composition. It has a ton of pear in it. This is not that strong, but it has that pear-like aroma in the opening that really kind of lures you in. And the funny thing is that pear is not listed as a note in this fragrance, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Now, as you give this fragrance a chance to dry down, you are going to get the jasmine, the tuberose. I think the jasmine is probably a little bit stronger because I typically associate a starchy quality with tuberose, and I'm not getting a whole lot of that. So I'm getting like this clean white floral component, but I can also see the role that the orange blossom is playing in this fragrance as well. Now, I do think there's an element of sweetness in here. I think you are going to get that vanilla that's lingering in the base, and it's creating that sultry resoluteness in the base. However, I feel like in other orange blossom dominant fragrances that I've tried, like Sevilla Low by Navitus Parfums, the sweetness is definitely coming from that orange blossom. And you can tell sometimes when it's so concentrated, it actually leans in the direction of sweet. That's not what's going on here, which is why I'm inclined to say I feel like the jasmine is really up front and center, and those other floral ingredients really just play supporting roles. And I should also mention that the jasmine used in here is not indolic at all, so it doesn't have that raunchy barnyard quality about it. It's a very clean, I don't want to use the word delicate, but it's a very clean fragrance. So I like that metamorphosis that happens in this fragrance where it opens up fruity, a little bit of tart. It has that unique quirky quality in the opening, but it's something that definitely grabs your attention and makes you fixate on it in an olfactory way. And then it sort of segues into this heart where you have this trio of florals. There might be more in there, but as far as the note breakdown is willing to reveal, you have those three ingredients in the heart. And then as it dries down, you have a little bit of a woodsy presence, but it's 100% being overshadowed by the vanilla. So I find this to be a really interesting fragrance. I actually really do enjoy this one. I'm quite a fan of it. And the more that I smell it, the more that I like it. Now, it's interesting how when you do smell fragrances like these, oftentimes you will pick up on certain notes that are not in the note breakdown. So for this one, I also get a musky presence in here as well. But it's a lot of clean musks, and we have like galaxolide and ulvetalide, and we have a lot of these like clean synthetic musks. There is no natural musk in this perfume, so no worries there. But I do sort of pick up on like this clean musky presence in the base. But again, you know, it's overshadowed by the vanilla, which is not overly strong in the sense that it's going to put it in gourmand territory. But that's one of the reasons why I'm also inclined to classify this as a fruity floral, because I am getting that pear-like aroma in the opening. But again, there's no pear in the note breakdown, so I guess I would just have to classify it as a floral fragrance. And it's certainly not an oriental because it doesn't have the spices and the patchouli, and you catch my drift. But I actually really like this fragrance. It's reminiscent of a song by Frank Sinatra, if I'm remembering correctly. But I think it's a really cool fragrance, and it's one that I can see a lot of men and women really enjoying. And it definitely has that compliment-worthy DNA. So this is the type of fragrance where if I smelled it on a woman, I would not hesitate to compliment her. Obviously, it would be kind of hard to smell her if I'm wearing a mask, right? But this is the type of fragrance that I find to be very agreeable, very personable. I really like My Way by Giorgio Armani. And do I think I'm going to purchase a bottle very soon? Yeah, I think so. I actually recently made 2 Armani purchases, one of them by Emporio Armani, Stronger With You Absolutely, which is marketed for men. And then I also recently purchased the brand new Armani code Eau de Parfum. So Armani has a lot of my money. So anyways, let's leave it there. Those were my pseudo first impressions of My Way by Giorgio Armani. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you took something of value from it. If you did, please do consider showing your support by subscribing to this channel. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please be sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. This way, whenever I do put out these videos, they will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future content. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.